Hello Electroheads, Tish here and welcome back to the channel. Now if you're after a small electric crossover from the Stellantis group, well you're spoilt for choice. Pretty much every single manufacturer now has one in their lineup and Fiat wasn't about to miss out. Introducing the all-new Fiat 600e. But what makes this car different from the rest of the cars that are currently out there? After all, they all share the same battery and running gear. There isn't much difference between them. So why choose the Fiat? Well, hopefully that's what I'm going to get to the bottom of in today's video. So if that sounds good, then please keep watching. And if you like electric car content and electric mobility, then this is the place to be. If you're looking for a car that's going to blend in amongst the sea of monochrome motors, then you're out of luck here. But for those of us who like to look on the brighter side of life, the 600e will only be available in a cheery colour palette, inspired by the beauty of Italy. That includes hues of Suns of Italy, Seas of Italy, Earth of Italy and Skies of Italy. Fiat had the vision of transforming the design and personality of the Fiat 500 electric city car into a larger, more practical package that would better cater for family needs with the 600e. To simplify the task, the company utilised the platform, motor, battery pack and interior technology of the 600e from the Stellantis parts bin. Consequently, it shares many features with the newly launched Jeep Avenger. In fact, they're now built alongside one another in the factory in Tychy, Poland. Design. Well, this is possibly something which is more important to Fiat than, well, anything really. You buy a Fiat because of the design. You don't buy them because of the power, you don't buy them because of the ride comfort. You buy them because they're quirky and cool, and you can absolutely tell that that's what they've gone with the new 600e. Do I like it? No, I don't think I do. It does borderline just on a bit too quirky for me. They've given it this big grin at the bottom and they've given it these emotive headlights with the eyebrows at the top. But for me personally, I don't think it's a particularly stylish looking car. But that's all down to personal perception. Because if you want something which is gonna stand out, it's gonna be quirky, it's gonna have that kind of personality, then this is going to be an excellent choice. As I mentioned, you've got the grille at the bottom, which almost creates this smile with the Fiat 600. And then you've got this kind of strange grille in the middle. I'm not really sure what the purpose of this is. And I think maybe that's what's throwing off the exterior design for me personally. I really like the badging, and I like the badging around the car as well. You've got this 600e at the front here in chrome, and you can also find it in some of the lights around the back, and you've also got it in the side of the lights there. The wheels are very quirky as well. I like that they've gone for that retro style. It almost looks a little bit like a flower. What worries me nowadays with electric wheels is how are these going to last? Manufacturers nowadays are going for these really busy two-tone designs, and it does concern me that if you look at Citroen wheels from around 5 years ago, you'll struggle to find one that's not corroded. So is that a trend that we're going to start to see on cars in 5-10 years time? We'll have to wait and see. The headline stats for the 600e are as follows. A 54 kilowatt-hour battery and a standard heat pump help to achieve 250 miles of electric range. A 156 brake horsepower electric motor propels the Fiat to 60 miles per hour in 9 seconds. It can also charge at maximum speeds of 100 kilowatts. Whilst it isn't the most impressive amongst its rivals, will still top up the battery from 20 to 80% in less than half an hour. The interior of the 600e is a delightful throwback to Fiat's rich heritage, with numerous nods to its iconic predecessor. The dashboard design and petite instrument panel pay homage to the original 600, while the seats feature a tasteful stitched company logo. Even the steering wheel serves as a tribute to the classic 600. Quality might be lacking, but it's all quite pleasingly cheery. Fiat offers 2 trim levels for the 600e. The entry-level red option starts at $32,995 and includes 16-inch steel wheels, gloss black wing mirror caps, matte side skirts, automatic climate control, rear parking sensors, keyless go, and LED lights. It also features unique red logos, a red dash, and red accents on the upholstery. The higher-end La Prima option starts at $36,995. That adds 18-inch diamond-cut alloy wheels, chrome accents and an ivory dash, a rear camera, heated leather seats with a massage function for the driver, a hands-free tailgate and wireless smartphone charging. Both trims come with a 7-inch driver's display and a 10.25-inch infotainment screen with wireless Apple CarPlay and Android Auto. But Le Puma also includes integrated navigation and an upgraded sound system.
Around the back, I feel like the design is slightly more palatable than the front. It's not quite as daring, and I quite like a few of the design cues around here. You've got a nice contrasting black spoiler. I really like the lights as well, very similar to what we're seeing on other brands' products. They're in this crystal clear design, so you can see the inner workings. You've got the 600 on the side, and I like the way you've got this dappled chrome effect which blends with the front of the car. I also quite like the contrasting black bumper at the bottom. You've got the 600 embossed in it, and you've also got the Italian flag. It's just a nice little touch which gives it that Italian flair, which Fiat is of course so well known for. Now, whilst working on design, Fiat have also concentrated quite hard on making this car not too large from the exterior, so it's easy to drive around town, but they've also worked quite hard on maximising the interior space that you get as well. So inside the boot, you'll find quite a decent level of storage.
When it comes to boot space, it falls within the average range for its class, with a capacity of 360 litres. It suppresses the smart #1 by 37 litres. However, it falls significantly short compared to the Kia Niro EV, which offers a whopping 115 more litres of space, and it's also 110 litres smaller than the MG ZS EV. Fear not, storage elsewhere is practical, with lots of cubby holes up front and some decent sized door cards.
The little 500e has a personality which is well known for being brilliant around town. It has light steering, it's easy to drive, but of course it's always been a little bit knocked for its range. This, however, does have the nice characteristics of still being very good around town, having very light steering, but you have the practicality of that additional range. 250 miles is far better than the previous generation Fiat products, and it should be easily enough for most drivers, especially those that will be using this car to commute, to go to school and to go to the football on the weekends. It's interesting that they've launched this car within the B segment and making a big song and dance about how they've returned to the B segment. This had me stumped for a little while because I thought that this was quite similar to the 500X, although they're claiming that the two cars are very different. The 500X is a little bit taller, it's more SUV-like, whereas this is kind of just more of a slightly beefier hatchback, which is why they've launched it in that B segment. Personally, if you're going to have a car in the B segment, I'd prefer to see something which was Punto sized, or perhaps something that's slightly closer related to the Peugeot E308 or the Vauxhall Astra. And then I'd like something even chunkier if we're going for a C segment car. But overall, I think it offers a good amount of practicality while still fitting into that trendy SUV package. Interestingly, it actually had me a little bit stumped when we watched the press conference, and Fiat claimed this as their return to the B segment, which I found a little bit odd. To me, the B segment has always been small compact cars like the Vauxhall Corsa or the Peugeot E208. This feels much larger, but maybe it's all a bit of a placebo when it comes to how tall it is. It has that SUV stance. That's not necessarily a bad thing because it has that trendy SUV styling and it is a bit more practical. But personally, I would have preferred to have seen a more compact car and then make the SUV even more practical with more space in the back and more space in the boot. This kind of sits in an odd in-between area. When it comes to ride comfort, I had the expectation of the Jeep Avenger in my mind because that car is pretty much exactly the same as the Fiat 600e, and I've driven it recently, and I would say they drive very similarly. They're very quiet, they're very supple, it's actually a very comfortable car to drive, but the steering is notably lighter, and I think Fiat have done that on purpose because they've always been well known as being light city cars. It has that very light steering paired together with a pretty good turning circle. That does mean that when it comes to driver engagement, a little bit of that is lost because it's not as taut as some of the other models. It certainly isn't as nice to drive as the Peugeot E2008. But if you want an everyday family car which is going to be really easy to drive, jump in, jump out with no trouble, then I think you're going to really enjoy this car. It's been interesting driving both the Jeep Avenger and the 600e so close together because it's easy to compare the two cars. After all, well, they're pretty much the same in their range, their charging statistics, and they offer a pretty well-rounded package when it comes to space and interior quality, or what I would say is a little bit of a lack of interior quality. But it's clear that each one does have its own personality. For me personally, I'd be edging towards the styling of the Jeep. But if you're after something a bit retro with that Fiat edge, then the 600e is going to be a great option. Do I love it quite as much as the 500? Possibly not, but I do think if you're looking for that similar quirky styling in a much more well-rounded package, then the 600e is going to give you a new choice into the market, and choice is always a good thing. But let me know, what do you think of the 600e? Do you think I've been a little bit harsh on its styling? Let me know in the comments down below. If you have enjoyed the video, please go ahead and give it a big thumbs up. And if you want to see more, then you know what to do. Go ahead and hit the subscribe button. Until next time, guys.